What is up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 57 of That's No Moon Pod. Saw the Marvels yesterday, and I was trying to record the pod last night after seeing the movie. Obviously, going to talk about the Loki season finale. Uh, Crazy season of Loki season 2. But I want to give my spoiler review of the Marvels. And like I said, I was trying to record last night, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't. I just couldn't for some reason. My speech, my everything was just off. And thankfully, I didn't record last night because today, as I'm recording this, some huge news drop from Marvel. Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian himself, just got cast as Reed Richards for the upcoming Fantastic Four project. And that's coming from Deadline. That's not coming from no Twitter source or anything that I might have seen on any kind of social media. That's coming from the real deal right there. And I want to get my thoughts on what I think of the casting. I guess I'll go over that real quick because that's literally the hottest news going on today. Um, a whole lot of stuff going on with Marvel right now. After the strike, they could finally start revamping their future projects and start announcing things like this. And Pedro Pascal being Reed Richards, I think I think it's perfect, to be honest. There was rumors that Jake Gyllenhaal would get offered for Reed Richards. Um, and that was just a few days ago. And I remember hearing that and not being too thrilled about it, to be honest. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's a great actor. It would just be confusing because he was already Mysterio in Spider-Man. And I never really like whenever they, bring back the same actor in the same universe, pretty much, to play a different character. It's worked out with Chris Evans, obviously, from uh, Johnny Storm. And then now we all know him and love him for being Captain America. So it's not like it hasn't worked out before, but this Pedro Pascal casting, I think is just so much better. Last year there was rumors that Diego Luna was rumored to be possibly cast as Reed Richards. Uh, so they're clearly looking for something a little more, um, just not your typical Reed Richards type that you might have in your head. Um, John Krasinski, I think he would have been a real good choice for Reed Richards in the movie, but I think him doing his thing and Doctor Strange, giving us that little, um, just cool Easter egg because he had always been rumored to be Reed Richards, and at least he got to play him. And we know that John Krasinski is Reed Richards in another universe, so we might see him again. But Pedro Pascal, dude, I mean, you talk about getting a guy who's not only capable of leading this movie, but I mean, just from a fan perspective, people are going to see Pedro Pascal. He's in the Marvel movie. He's Reed Richards, the guy from Last of Us, Mandalorian, Narcos, all this. People love Pedro Pascal. Um, and rightfully so. He's been on fire these past few years. And I think his relationship going forward with the Mando universe might be a little rocky going forward. There was all those rumors that he wasn't happy on set with his usage. He always wanted to, he wanted to show his face more in Mando and kind of give him more of an opportunity, I guess, to show off his chops, not under the helmet, which I could fully understand. Um, and I think it's dumb of Lucasfilm to not kind of cooperate with him because, like I said, the dude's on fire. He's been on fire for a hot minute, and this is just gonna keep the ball rolling for him in his career. Because I'm sure he's got Last of Us season 2 on deck, um, and people are gonna be waiting for that until it comes out for sure. So we'll probably have two big projects coming around at the same time again. Um, and I think he's the only one that's been officially cast for the whole Fantastic Four. There's been a lot of different rumors about the rest of the cast, but announcing this one first, I think, was a smart move because, like I said, it's Pedro Pascal. You put that dude in anything right now, and people are gonna go see it. So I think it's just a massive W for Marvel. I think it got a lot of people excited, and I know it got me excited. That's for sure. I'm stoked for it. Um, there was also a lot of rumors going around. The director who was supposed to helm the Kang Dynasty movie dropped out, so he's no longer directing the Kang Dynasty movie, which is looking more and more likely that Marvel's gonna move away from Kang, I guess. Try to get out of that Jonathan Majors drama, um, which sucks because he killed it in Loki season 2. Um, so if that is the case, to where they're moving away from Jonathan Majors and Kang, and possibly moving on to Doctor Doom, I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna complain too much. But that was the rumor going around today as well. It wasn't confirmed, but it's looking more and more likely that that's going to be the case. So, I mean, until we get the rest of the cast filled out for Fantastic Four, um, I'm still holding out for Henry Cavill to play Doctor Doom. Um, that's my dream cast right there. I think Marvel, they're looking at what they got right now, and they know they need to hit a home run. Um, until Deadpool 3 comes out, the least they can do is announce these big name actors and actresses to fill out these roles, um, for these characters that everyone's excited to see on screen. Um, but yeah, Henry Cavill for Doctor Doom, that's my choice. If they do that, that would literally, I think, just break any kind of um, just people that aren't too hyped on the Marvel thing. It would just completely just reverse their thinking. And I mean, you get Henry Cavill to play Doctor Doom, and then we already got Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I mean, come on, dude. Um, we got to get Henry Cavill in the Marvel universe, and I don't think there's a better choice to play Doctor Doom. To be honest, I mean, seeing those two guys on screen together going at it, um, but that's just wishful thinking. That's all on me. I guess since we were talking about Jonathan Majors, let's talk about the Loki season 2 finale. I mean, you talk about when Marvel is good. Marvel is freaking good, man. I'm telling you. It's just when they're able to make these characters, comic book characters, come to life on screen, and the writing and the acting and the set design, cinematography, the score, when it all just meshes together perfectly, it's just such good entertainment. And that's what Loki season 2 was, just all around from start to finish. the pacing of the show. You never were bored. You always were waiting for the next scene. What's gonna happen next? Um, Tom Hiddleston as Loki will it'll go down as top five Marvel characters, I think, of all time within the cinematic universe. I mean, what he was able to do from the jump with Loki, for all of us to, love him as a villain, and then to see where he comes in Loki season two, to where he's just this powerful god now. He's always been a powerful god, but now it's just like he's on a whole nother different level with him being able to connect all these timelines and universes, and he's willing to sacrifice his life for the most part so that his friends, Mobius, B52, everyone can live the life that they want instead of just completely getting spaghettied. And like I said, Loki now is just on that Mount Rushmore of these Marvel characters that we've grown up and witnessed just become a completely different character right in front of our eyes. And it's crazy because it's Loki. Like, Loki's never been, the hot guy, the main guy in comic books or whatever. He's always taken the backseat to Thor. But I mean, right now, I think a lot more people are driving with Loki, a lot more than, I would say, probably 75% of the Marvel projects that have been released. Um, but they put such a nice bow on the season, on the show. I don't know if there's going to be a season three. I doubt it, just by the way it ended. Um, but Tom Hiddleston has said that he should be back at some point, whether it's Secret Wars or whatever. So I don't think it's the end for Tom Hiddleston playing Loki, but I do think um, the series has come to a close. Um, Again, Jonathan Majors, I thought killed it in the season finale. Whenever they kind of have that back and forth conversation when Loki's time slipping and he's reliving the moment to where Sylvie kills him and he's trying to negotiate with Kang, and they're both kind of just they're just having a nice back and forth, throwing jabs at each other and just trying to one up each other. Um, so it was cool to see Loki become this guy and able to stand toe to toe with someone as powerful as Kang and beat him at his own game, pretty much. Um, the only thing around season two that didn't really fully hit for me was the whole Sylvie storyline. The whole time, I just kind of felt like she was just this character in the show that they needed to incorporate somehow. Even though she is pretty much the reason for all this going down in the first place, I never felt like that was ever really put forward, and she kind of got like a pat on the back or whatever, just a slap on the wrist type of deal, and she was just kind of, I don't know, that just the way that they handled Sylvie in this season two compared to season one. I really cared about her in season one, and in season two, where it was like Loki has that decision if he kills her, pretty much stops everything. In a way, I was kind of rooting for Loki to just kind of offer a little bit because, I mean, even still, it wouldn't have mattered, I guess. But I don't know, just the whole Sylvie storyline in season two, I didn't really feel like we needed it a whole lot, just the way it was handled, I guess. Um, but that's just me. Everything else was perfect, to be honest. It was easily the best season of any Marvel TV show that they've done so far. So, I mean, any kind of nitpicks or whatever that I might have, The show was amazing. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss Tom Hiddleston. I'm gonna miss Owen Wilson. I'm gonna miss all these characters. Until next time, though. Um, so let's talk about the Marvels, y'all. Spoilers, full spoilers. If you haven't seen the Marvels, um, it was okay. It wasn't great, that's for sure. Um, I enjoyed Miss Marvel, the Disney Plus series. Um, Amon Vellani, Miss Marvel, she's the real deal. She's gonna she's gonna blow up for sure in anything that she's in. Outside of Marvel, she's just so charismatic. She's funny. Um, she's just an overall. She's a good actress, and I believe her as Miss Marvel. She's not annoying at all. Her kind of character could really be annoying real easily if it's too over the top, but the way that her and her family dynamic plays out on screen is just money every time. Um, and I remember going into the movie thinking that, okay, I know this movie is really short. Um, so I was, while watching it, I'm thinking, is it gonna feel like it's real rushed? Is it gonna feel like it's, it needed extra time? And to be honest, I think it did. Um, the villain, I had to look up the villain's name right now. It's played by Zaw Ashton, and the villain in this movie, her name is Dar Ben. Dar Ben is the villain in this movie, and the whole time I'm thinking, what is this chick's name? And they say it a few times, but not enough to where the whole time where I'm like, oh no, here comes Dar Ben. Oh, it's Dar Ben. Um, the villain was just the most like cookie cutter. Uh, Seen it so many times before. Um, you don't feel anything when she's on screen. You're like, okay, she's mad right now. She's got these caps in her teeth to make her look cool, whatever. Um, but the whole time you're like, okay, I'm not scared of this. I'm pretty sure the Marvels for sure ain't scared of this, even though they're trying real hard to be. We know this chick's gonna get offed because she's just thirsty for power and revenge, and that never plays out well for the villain, right? Um, so the villain easily was just completely forgettable. You could have probably had some other kind of anyone to step in, kind of take in and play the villain in this movie, but I don't think it's the actress's fault at all. I think she did her job to the best that she could, but the whole movie just kind of felt like it was trying to fill in these gaps for time, and it felt like there was reshoots a lot because there's a lot of green screen and a lot of times where you could tell they're on the volume and not on any kind of set location at all. Um, but the chemistry between the Marvels, Brie Larson, I think, really stepped it up. I remember going to go see Captain Marvel, the first movie, and I went by myself to go see it too, for whatever reason. And I remember I felt like I left that movie feeling the same way that I did with the Marvels leaving the theater. So I was like, it was okay. It's not great, that's for sure. Like I'm probably never gonna watch it again. Um, but Brie Larson, compared to the first movie, I thought really stepped it up. I liked her a whole lot more in this movie. I kind of always felt like they were trying to always make us feel like Captain Marvel was this brute, strong, no one to mess with, um, type of character, whether it was in Endgame or anything that she's popped in before. Um, I kind of just always felt like they were really trying to, you know, push it home for us that Captain Marvel, she's just strong, crazy, powerful character, and it always kind of just made her feel like a brute. Like I said, like nothing relatable to her. There was nothing ever really to like about her, um, because you couldn't really relate to her. But in this one, in the Marvels, she's a lot more joking, I guess, but not in a over the top way. She kind of has like that sarcastic humor, but she's playful. She's more, I would say, grounded and overall just down to earth. She feels a lot more human instead of this um, crazy, powerful, cosmic superhero. But Brie Larson, I thought, did really good for what she was given. I thought she elevated the character a lot more, and honestly, I think for me at least, I want to see more Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, but this version, to where she's kind of playing her more like this, and not like she's trying to, take over the team pretty much. Um, and Photon, well, whenever she eventually does become Photon, um, Tiana Paris, Monica Rambeau, she did great too. Seeing kind of her character step into her own, and then she just goes full on Super Saiyan at the end, making the sacrifice, goes through that timeline that got broke, and let's just talk about kind of the ending because everyone's talking about the post credit scenes, what happened to Monica Rambeau, and she wakes up in the other timeline, and she wakes up in the hospital, and her mom is there. And if you remember, her mom got dusted during Infinity War, and Monica Rambeau wakes up and she's dead. So Monica Rambeau, when she gets undusted, she comes to find out that her mom was died. So what is she doing in the hospital, not knowing who her own daughter is? And then in comes Beast from the OG X Men, um, full CGI Beast. Um, and the CGI didn't look amazing, but I mean, I had heard rumors leading up to the movie that that was the big leak that Beast somehow was supposed to be in the movie, and that's exactly what it was. Monica Rambeau, she wakes up in this universe, so I'm guessing that this is somehow going to tie into um, the future X Men projects, tying into probably Deadpool 3. I'm assuming. So it was cool to see Monica Rambeau. She's just pretty much waking up. Um, and Beast is right there. He even says something. Charles Xavier is waiting on her, wants to talk to her or something. So they're really, really getting us amped up and ready for X Men and Deadpool 3 with this. I just wish the movie was. I don't know, dude. I mean, I almost wasn't gonna go see the movie in the first place because it's just not my. It's just not my cup of tea. The movie, it wasn't made for a guy like me. It was made for kids. This felt like if I had a daughter, I'd put this movie on and it would be her favorite movie from here on out. I'd be watching the Marvels probably every day on repeat because I feel like kids specifically would love this movie. Something you could just put on and have in the background, while you're doing your thing. Um, the humor, like I said, the Marvels, Aman Vellani, Tiana Paris, Brie Larson. I thought everything that they did, it worked for me. Again, with Miss Marvel and her family, they always crack me up. Nick Fury had a couple good one-liners, like he always does. Um, there's a scene around, I would say, the midpoint of the movie. It's kind of hard for me to think about the timeline in this film because I remember watching it and I'm like, oh, this is like we're already in the final act here. Like this movie's about to end. But before all that, there was uh, these scenes in the middle part of the movie to where the Marvels they travel to this planet for help. I guess because they know that Dar Ben is coming to go and probably take their water or something like that. And Brie Larson, uh, Captain Marvel, she's acting a little weird while they're pulling up to the planet, and it turns out that the people on this planet, Brie Larson, she's pretty much the queen to all these people, and these people, the way they speak, they sing, so they're not just talking whenever they get introduced or introduced. They're singing the whole time. And then they're kind of just walking through this town and everyone's like dancing and singing or whatever. Um, and I don't know what it is with Marvel or Disney, but for some reason, there always seems to be a scene like this to where our characters end up on a planet or something. And then all of a sudden, there's just like a sea of people, like it's Westeros or something. And except they're all wearing colorful garb and scarves, and they're all twirling and dancing and singing, and our characters kind of moving through the crowd all awkwardly and stuff. To me, it just kind of felt like they were trying to get a little bit of that Barbie magic in the movie. Um, I never saw Barbie, but this scene in this movie to where everyone's singing and having conversations in song, it just felt like they just want a little bit of that juice, you know? Like let's throw something like Barbie had all these, dance numbers and singing or whatever, and let's kind of do something like that, but with the Marvels. It really kind of felt like they were trying to go for that angle, and to me at least, it kind of shifted the tone of the movie in a weird way to where I was like, what is going on? Like I said, and Marvel and Disney does this a lot. They did it in Thor Ragnarok. Even though I love Thor Ragnarok, they did that in that movie. They do it in The Rise of Skywalker with Lando. Um, I'm trying to think of all the other ones, but they always seem to just do that. We're getting a bunch of people in a crowd and having this weird kind of moment in this movie where you're like, what is this? Um, so that was kind of the only scene of the movie where I was like, I don't know about this, y'all. But it didn't last as long as I thought it would. So I guess that's a positive in that note. But of course, I mean, like I said, this movie wasn't made for someone like me. It was made for, it's more of a kids movie. Um, but nonetheless, I mean, it's forgettable. I'm not gonna bash on the movie any extra just because it wasn't my favorite. Um, I just probably won't watch it again. But like I said, Brie Larson, I thought stepped it up a lot more as Captain Marvel. Um, Amavalani, she's just gonna keep going up from here. And now that Monica Rambeau is in this other universe, now we gotta wait and see what exactly happens with her and how that plays out. Um, I'm trying to think of what else I could say about this movie. To be honest, I'm not gonna rate it or nothing because I don't think that's my rating doesn't matter anyways. It's not gonna have any effect on anyone going to go see this movie or not. I don't think. Um, the other post credit scene, or I should say the mid credit scene. Um, okay, so we're back in New York, right? And then right away for just the first person that come into my head as soon as we kind of saw these shots of the city back in New York, um, we we see pizza dog, and then so right away you're like, oh, okay, I know where this is going, and sure enough, um, it's the whole thing from Hawkeye. Um, I'm blanking on her name right now. What is her name? Haley Steinfeld. Um, she walks in the door, and uh, kind of that conversation between the two, uh, Amavalani, and then it's kind of just merging the world to where she's recruiting a team now, and she wants her Haley Steinfeld to be a part of it. So it pretty much just setting up the new Avengers, Young Avengers, whatever you want to call them, West Coast Avengers. I don't know. I don't know which Avengers it's gonna be, but they're definitely trying to set that up going forward, which I'm cool with. Um, they obviously have Ironheart, and I'm sure they're gonna throw in Scarlet Witch's sons in this somehow as well. So I think overall the movie did its job, I guess, with kind of setting us up where we're going forward. The movie just overall wasn't that great, but I mean, nonetheless, like I said, I'm not gonna rate it. Y'all go see it for yourselves if you choose so. But let me know what y'all thought in the comments down below. Like I said, a whole lot going on today, y'all. It was crazy. Um, I'm stoked for Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I can't believe that's been confirmed. Um, until next week, though, y'all. I've been live streaming on Twitch damn near every day. Modern Warfare 3 out. Been gaming on that. If y'all trying to run something, let me know. Links will be in the description. Follow me on Snapchat. I got 100 comic books on my public profile on Snapchat, free to read with the variant covers, new releases. I'm about to look at what just dropped today and see which ones I want to pick out to read tonight and post tomorrow. Um, Again, all the links will be down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next episode, hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's week. Y'all stay safe, and I'll catch y'all on the flip. Peace.